It's 7:30 in the morning on a Saturday, and if you're planning on selling your car on Facebook Marketplace, these are the kind of hours that you should expect to be keeping with your new full-time job. Today I'm going to be telling you about the joys and wonders that it is to sell a used vehicle, especially when dealing with Facebook Marketplace. Now, if you're not familiar with it, Facebook is an online social media platform that connects the entire world together. That's one of the main reasons why Facebook Marketplace is such a popular place to sell things, because you have a pretty wide range of audience to be able to sell your stuff to. Now, I've used it quite a bit. Pretty much every used car I've gotten rid of has been through Facebook Marketplace. I got rid of my 2001 BMW 7 Series that way, my 2006 Ford Focus wagon, even my 1990 Honda Accord. That's how we got a buyer for that. Facebook Marketplace, it's there. So, yes. If you're wondering, if you're a regular viewer of the show here, you'll notice that I am driving my 2013 Mercedes-Benz C300 4MATIC, and yes, I have decided that it is time to part ways with this excellent machine. And in fact, we're going to be doing a series on which good used vehicles you can buy for under like 15 grand, and this is definitely one of them. And if this video was going up after that, I would definitely tell you to buy mine, but I'm hoping by the end of the next couple hours my car will be sold and I will be a richer man for it. But selling on Facebook Marketplace has its downsides to it. You have a lot of people that come out of the woodwork, and a lot of people that you just have to deal with. That's why I say it is like a full-time job. So here's some tips and tricks to maximize your gains when it comes to selling your vehicle on Facebook Marketplace, or just in general. First off, you have to know the price of your vehicle. You got to do a little bit of research. So as a W204 enthusiast, I kind of keep a pulse on the resale market for these vehicles. I know the condition of my car, the mileage, and things like that. So I already had a pretty solid number in my head for what I wanted to get for this thing. So that's what I listed it for. But you have to make sure that you're not listing it too low, because I find with Facebook Marketplace, especially, the lower priced vehicles, like under 10 grand, even under like 8 grand, that's where you start to attract the special people. So keep that in mind. But obviously your vehicle's only worth what it's worth, so don't overprice it thinking you're going to get more. Really nailing it on the head of what it should be selling at is the best way to go. Now, I always recommend having the full service history. So when I posted my listing, I went over all the repairs and maintenance that I've done to this car since I bought it. And I've done quite a bit. We've gone over it on this channel. We talk about it on our episodes of Test Drive Garage, where we discuss dollar for dollar how much I've spent on this car. And we talked about how in 2024 I spent pretty much next to nothing. 2025 I've already spent $1,000 to fix the rear axle shaft, which broke due to the vehicle sitting for like 4 or 5 weeks during winter, and essentially it froze. The wheels froze, so when I went to move the vehicle, something broke. So that's why I'm kind of deciding to get rid of it. I love the car, I really do. It's just I don't have the space in the garage or the driveway for it, so time to go. So you got to know pricing, you got to know condition, you got to let people know what your vehicle has to offer, not only in terms of maintenance and repairs, but you know, selling factors. So in my case, this car has never left me stranded. Yes, the ABS sensor went out when I started it up after a couple weeks, but it wasn't broken. I had to drive slowly and carefully, but the vehicle still drove fine. The car still worked. And, you know, it's not really that crazy of a repair. I'm sure some people are thinking $1,000 is quite a bit, but part's fixed now. It's good to go. So you got to make sure that you explain to people why they want to buy your car. Well maintained, hasn't had any issues, comes with good features, you know, heated seats, dual zone climate, sunroof, things like that. Those are all selling factors. You know, I'm also selling mine with the winter tires, so that could be a benefit to somebody who's looking to sell. So, you know, make sure you are descriptive when you put your listing together. Nobody's going to read it. I've had plenty of people who've messaged me so far asking me the questions that I have answered in the description. But that's Facebook Marketplace for you. Now, the next thing you need to do, paperwork. So in my case, selling a vehicle here in Ontario, I have a used vehicle information package. Basically just shows the owner history, mileage, things like that. If it's got a branded title or salvage, things that are pretty important when buying a vehicle. Plus, it actually does have a one-page bill of sale on the back. Now, the buyer ends up taking that. It's supposed to go to the ministry to show that he actually did buy the car. but it is good to have a second bill of sale. Now, you could, I guess, just copy the one that you get from the ministry or wherever you're buying or selling. You might have some similar documents, but I would just draft up a pretty simple bill of sale, basically showing who's the seller, who's the buyer, the price, the condition, and the information about the vehicle, whether it's as is or certified, whatever your jurisdiction calls a vehicle that is roadworthy and ready to be registered, and, essentially signatures and date. So that's something that I've put together. I've got 2 copies, one for me, one for the buyer, plus the used vehicle information package. So I'm pretty much good to go. Now, I'm not bringing the service history with me. Those documents are mine, and it's got all the payments I've put on it. I use it for taxes, things like that, but I do have it available. So should that be the final negotiating factor when it comes to selling this vehicle today, I can give that up. That's not a problem. Interestingly, this is not the place I was supposed to be meeting people to sell this car. In fact, as I was taking a corner, very gently, something broke. I now have no drive on the vehicle. It goes into reverse, goes into drive. It moves a little bit, but there's no propulsion. Could it be the transmission? Could it be the problem that I just had it in the shop for to get fixed? I genuinely don't know. But here's the thing. When you have 4 people lined up to be meeting you at the top of the hour, what do? Right? People coming from all over. I have somebody that said that they were coming 2 hours away here at 8 o'clock in the morning. You have a phone number, you have a text, but if they don't pick up, what are you supposed to do? So this might be the end of the journey for me with this car. Not only because obviously I was going to sell it and get rid of it at the end of this morning, but it might be going somewhere else and not to somebody's home. It was quite the disappointment, not quite the way I wanted to end this video. I was actually going to spend some time making fun of all the people that had messaged me on Facebook Marketplace, but it's a good opportunity to talk about what happens when something no longer becomes available. It's why it's important to take the vehicle out and drive it before you take it to show people. There's a lot of people out there who will say, oh, you don't want to cold start it. You don't want to start it up or warm it up. You want to see if there's any issues with it. And that's fine. That's all good and dandy. But had the person met me at the house and they just drove it around the block, it would have been fine. 5 minutes into their drive home, they'd be on the back of a flatbed, just like I am going to be very soon. And as far as I knew, this car was in good working condition when there's clearly something else afoot. So, yeah, there's no winning. Obviously, things happen. If anybody who messaged me is actually watching this, I do apologize. Genuinely, the car has some problems with it. Unbeknownst to me, because I have driven this car for over 3 years now, problem-free. Especially with the transmission and engine and everything else, it didn't have any problems. And honestly, the problem with the ABS sensor probably could have been avoided had I driven that vehicle at least every week during winter, during Christmas time and things like that, but it's just not possible with a single car drive. So, I don't know. I was hoping to continue this video and have some fun talking about all the adventures of selling your car, but it still does give you an idea of what you should be doing if you are trying to sell your car on Facebook Marketplace, how difficult it is to deal with people. I had probably 100 different people message me about this vehicle over the last, it's almost been 24 hours now since I've posted it. 100 people offering garbage prices and, asking the questions that you've already answered in the description. It is a full-time job, especially if you're selling it at the lower end. But what can you do? As always, if you have any questions about this video, or if you want to pay your condolences to my car, you can do so by commenting below. We do get back to everybody. We appreciate you watching. We hope you subscribe to the channel, even though this isn't the usual polished content that we like to put out. Gives you an idea of how life is in the real world. So until next time, thanks for watching.